right, today I have a very special guest with me, and we're going to do something you've never seen or heard here on In Deep on the Delta. We're going to get into that in just a minute. We'll take a look at a few pictures, then we'll get right into the report. Hey everyone, thanks for joining me. This is the In Deep on the Delta weekly fishing report for November 14th, and as I promised, I have a special guest, Mr. Pete Otteson. Pete, thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure to have you on board today.
Thank you for having me out.
Pete, I'm not going to go through all of this. We don't have the time, but sure. Pete is an inductee to the Stockton Hall of Fame, California Waterfowlers Hall of Fame, the California Outdoors Hall of Fame, which is a very elite group, group of people that include John Muir, Ansel Adams, and Kit Carson. Quite an honor.
Well, it's humbling to be sure. I'm grateful to be part of it. I'm not sure how I qualify, but
you qualify.
But it's pretty humbling. It's daunting. I'm just happy to provide consistent information and be hopefully a communicator and
well, you've done
go
that.
From that.
You've done that. So a few other things. You received the Outdoor Writer of the Year from the California Outdoor Writers Association. You've been a lifelong conservationist and an avid outdoorsman and duck hunter. You were out duck hunting yesterday.
I was.
You're a national delegate for the Ducks Unlimited. You've worked with Ducks Unlimited for years and years, doing a number of things. 35 years in the education field. Over that time, you retired as director of the San Joaquin County Board of Education.
The Office of Education.
The Office of Education. And you were part of putting programs in place that helped over 350,000 fifth and sixth graders help them introduce them to outdoor activities. And that's a huge deal.
Well, I felt very good about it in the sense that we have a lot of kids in the valley that don't come from a lot. Their families don't have a bunch. They don't travel a lot. And to see fifth or sixth grade age kids look at the ocean and fall down on their knees and say, "Is that all water?" Or look up high at a redwood tree and they look up and they almost fall over backwards. They see things there that they cannot see in the Central Valley. And for many of them, they've never first time they've ever seen the ocean or a redwood tree. Yeah. So it's pretty heart rendering.
It's good work. It's good work. Pretty well rounded guy. 21-year manager of the Stockton Symphony. 12 years as trustee for the Haga Museum.
Yeah.
Along with awards that we can continue doing this for a while, but I'm not going to embarrass you any longer.
No.
I want to just say that I was introduced to you through the Stockton Record, which you had a weekly report, and you wrote articles once a week, and you had a weekly report for over 43 years, and we kind of talked about that. I've done this report for about 3 years now. I probably got a couple hundred under my belt. You have over 5,000. That's impressive.
Well, like I always say, reports are easy. Carrying through and making sure they're accurate is a little more complicated.
Reports are easy. Accuracy is not so easy. Maybe with your experience, you can just let some of the anglers and hunters out there, give them some information or a few words of wisdom on how they can get through this life that we have, enjoy the great outdoors, live to be to retirement age, and still come out here and enjoy this. What's your secret? You're still out here, you're duck hunting, you've done it I know you got passion for what you're doing, but what the heck's the secret?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if there's a secret or not. I guess I'm a man of spirituality without question. Maybe not the traditional, but I certainly am overwhelmed by Mother Nature. It's certainly something bigger than any individual or all of us for that matter. And so when I'm out fishing or hunting or just cavorting and tromping around, I have a passion for being out. Every day is unusual. Today we're sitting here, Aleutian Canada geese are flying by. No cloud formation will ever be the same, two in a row. And just to be out, it's just, to me, it's an overwhelming experience, and that allows me to wake up every day. I sleep well at night. I'm ready to go. I've got a song in my heart. I like to whistle. I've been blessed with good genes. I'm 78 and I'm still doing what I want to do. And but it's just special to be outdoors, and I have a real passion. It uplifts me every day.
So that's what carries you through.
Indeed.
So those are words of wisdom, folks. You want to be out here when you're 78 doing what you're doing. Listen to what Pete says, and I think you'll have a good chance to enjoy the river and the mountains and the lakes and streams here in California for years and years to come.
Well, having a good Labrador, although she's getting antsy, that helps too.
So with that, if you think you've got one more report left in you, maybe you can do a duck hunting report, which has never been done here on in deep on the Delta. Doesn't have to be in depth, something a little quick. How many birds we got out here? Does somebody have a chance to shoot a bird if they come out here? What's the deal with the duck hunting? A little report.
Well, the Delta has changed a lot, like as in so many ways, but the cropping has changed. There's hardly any corn. There's no more asparagus. So therefore, flooded ground that used to be a haven for wildlife, particularly ducks and geese, is no more. So the Delta, with its blueberries and orchards and etc., it's almost a veritable desert for wildlife, waterfowl now. There's a few islands right in the center of the Delta that's got some habitat.
They don't eat blueberries?
Not well. Probably happily for the blueberry farmer, I'm sure. But it's hard. Are there ducks around? Sure. Mother Nature has blessed us with. She's not going anywhere.
She's going.
No, she's not going to go anywhere.
All
right. We had 2 good wet years, so we've got good local hatches of mallards, wood ducks, a few cinnamon teal, a few gadwalls, but mallard and wood ducks are it. And I've talked to some of the unattached hunters that you've encountered hiding in tules and lower areas where ducks can work, and most have said they haven't seen as many mallards in many years as they have now.
Good.
Excuse me. Sit down.
So there's a chance to go out and shoot.
Being a river shooter is hard. It just is very hard, and not many people do it. They're up so early. You know. But now with the time change, they got to be out on the water. They got to be moving at 3 a.m. That's hard, and you have to be hardcore to do those kind of things. Many more people fish than duck hunt.
It's the passionate.
Well, it's something that people get into, but as far as the Delta, not long ago when you were growing up, and when I first were here about 56 years ago, this wrench track, when we just launched off Paradise Point today, had over 2 million pintail, almost all the pintail in the Pacific Flyway. Wow. Today there are 0. So that gives you an idea. There is a change in volume of birds, and also with climate change. Don't think it doesn't affect ducks. They hang up in Oregon and Washington. Some of them don't even leave Canada. Not cold enough.
Yeah.
So everything adapts, and ducks adapt very well. And Audubon will tell you 3 billion birds have died in the last 20 years, have disappeared. But waterfowl, water birds, shorebirds have all gone up. They're the only species that have, and it's because of conservationists, and it's because of providing what habitat we can.
Okay, so with that, I'll just wrap this up and say, if you can't catch a few bass out here, you probably come out and still shoot a few ducks. So, Pete, thanks for that information.
You're very welcome.
We're going to have some more conversation here in a little bit, but I'll let you go for now, and I'll finish up the weekly report. Come on. All right, let's get into the report. And as I said before, this is the report for November 14th. Before I get into the report, I still get lots of folks asking me, how can I send in a report? How can I send in a picture? What you need to do is send them into S Cooper, SCOOPER 9561032 at gmail.com. You can send in your reports and pictures. I read every report. I try to respond to every report. Some days I can't, or some weeks I can't, but I do my best to respond to them. I see we got Ed heading out. He's going to go out and give me a report hopefully later in the day. I think he's heading out for stripers. So it's important that I get these reports. And as the great Pete Austin just mentioned, you know, doing the reports is easy. The accuracy is the tough part. So the more reports I get from you guys, the better, more accurate these reports are going to be. Let's get into a little river business and we'll talk about what's been going on out here on the river. Let's see, we have November 23rd. The Fairfield Sassoon Bass Reapers is going to have their annual tournament up at Lake Berryessa. That's going to be held at Puda Creek Resort. I think that tournament's been going on for over 20 years. For you guys that want to get off the Delta, get up to do a little lake fishing, check that out. You can get all the information you need at the Fairfield Sassoon Bass Reapers website, or they're pretty active on Facebook, and you'll get your information there. Also, we have a crappie tournament coming out. It's going to be the Christmas Shootout Crappie Tournament, December 7th, Holland Track Marina. Marlon Carpenter is the tournament director, and I think he's got a really good thing going here. Hopefully he'll get some participation out there for you crappie anglers. They're also going to have a big fish pool for the largest bass, big fish pool for the largest crappie. It'll be a fun tournament. If you have any questions, call Marlon out at 510-691-0586. I also got some reports from Marlon last week. He's just been walking the bank, throwing a jig out there. And he's been doing really well, catching some big fish. So you bank anglers that are prowling around the banks, you still have a chance to catch some nice bass out here. Don't be afraid to get out there and try it. Also, bank anglers, I talked to Randy Graham from The Real Randy Graham Fishing. He has been just killing the crappie, him and his posse, his friends that he fishes with out at Whiskey Slough. And he invites everybody to come out there. He's been out there 3 or 4 days a week. You might want to check Randy. He'll be more than happy to let you know when he's out there. They've been fishing from about 4 in the afternoon till dark. Good crappie bite going on, and things are starting to happen. Call Randy. He'll kind of take you under his wing if you haven't been out there, show you how to crappie fish. Really nice guy. Also, Randy just put together a cleanup party out at here at Paradise Point. We went out to where were we? We were out Telephone Cut. Had about 10 or 12 people out there, picked up a whole truck full of trash. We're going to try to do this on a regular basis, so keep in touch if you guys are interested in maybe making a few friends, coming out, you know, for a morning, just for a couple hours, picking up a little trash. We'll probably be concentrating here around Paradise Point. There's plenty of trash to be picked up, and it's a good thing. So I want to commend all the guys that showed up for that cleanup. I want to thank you for taking a little bit of time to come out and maybe make some goodwill with some of the farmers out here, clean up the Delta and make a few friends. So let's get right into the report. Water conditions. The only thing I could say out here, what's been happening recently is water temperatures are dropping. They're hovering around 55 degrees. I know Ed was out. He did a water temperature check this morning. It's Thursday morning, and he's getting 55 degree surface temp right here at Paradise Point. I have got some reports of 52 degree temperatures early in the morning, but it's going to hover right around 55, and it's going to be dropping. It's that time of year. Clarity, it can be anywhere from 2 to 15 feet out here. Most of the Delta is pretty darn clear. We're talking 6 to 8 feet of visibility. And we are in the winter transition. It's not going to be long before that water temperature gets down to about right in that low 50s, upper 40s, and that's when we're going to really see the bass fishing get tough out here. Boy, I think Joey Price from Priceless Fishing had basically his report that I got this week summed up everything. Basically, Joey said, you know, the average weights of the bass tournaments are dropping. Fishing for largemouth bass is getting slower. stripers are flooded in the system. They're all over, and the striper fishing is getting better. And I think that's going to be something that we're going to see in the next couple weeks. The bass fishing is going to just get really, really tough. Hopefully the stripers will go on a big bite here, and we'll have some great fishing through the winter. I want to thank Joey for sending in the weekly reports, giving me a good idea on what's going on here in the Delta. Joey's key to success for the largemouth bass, by the way, has been to stick to bluegill colors and bluegill patterns. And his philosophy is that the bluegill are picking up the bigger fish. So if you stick to the, trying to imitate a bluegill, you're going to get bigger fish. If you stick to maybe looking at shad or fishing shad patterns, you're probably going to get a few more bites, but they're going to be the smaller fish. So with that, we'll talk a little bit about stripers, then we'll get back into the largemouth, then we'll wrap this up. Stripers are all over the system. I did talk to Rob Cloutier from the Bass Hole. Rob verified that the bass fishing is getting slower, but a lot of the guys that are going out there are starting to catch a lot more stripers. I talked to Joe from Core Fishing. The Central Delta has a flood of fish in it. There's a lot of those keeper size fish in it now. 2 weeks ago, a lot of small fish. The bigger fish are coming in. They're getting a lot of those 20 to 24 inch size fish, up to about 27 here in the Central Delta. So the size has really increased. If you're going to fish the Central Delta, my suggestion would be, doesn't matter what you're doing, drifting a live bait, throwing bigger plugs, throwing top waters, trolling, you're going to catch fish. You want to stick to the channel and the inlets. Anywhere there's moving water around points on the channel are going to be good. If you can't find fish there, you may want to head to the backs of some of these channels. A lot of the fish are pushing the bait up there, and you'll find stripers in one of those places. Doesn't matter what you're throwing. If you like trolling, go out there and troll. If you like throwing big baits, you'll probably catch bigger fish. Paddle tail swim baits, things like that are going to catch you the numbers of fish. Lipless crankbaits, but you'll have fun. So that's the striper report. Largemouth bass, it's getting tougher out here. I have only been out a couple times this week. I've seen the fishing slow down. Most everyone is talking about just slowing down with any bait that you're using, and really starting to pick apart points and areas that you think the fish are in. You've got to just sit on them a little longer, throw slower moving baits, and if you want bigger fish, fish in the deeper water. Most of the big fish right now are coming in, I'll say 6 to 8 feet of water off the first ledge. If you're a bank hugger, you're still going to catch fish. A lot of the smaller fish are in there, kind of just feeding up on whatever they could get. But the bigger fish that they were catching, punching on frogs a couple weeks ago, they've moved out to deeper water. And I think that trend is going to continue. And as this temperature, especially for largemouth bass, gets down to the low 50s into the upper 40s, it's going to be tough out here. We'll continue doing the reports. But unfortunately, I think it's going to be kind of Groundhog Day when we get to that 50-degree mark as far as bass fishing goes. That means I don't think you guys should stop watching the reports. I'm going to have a lot of fun stuff that we'll be talking about. I've got some stories to tell you when the fishing gets tough, and we're saving those for when the fishing's tough. Right now, you can still go out and catch fish. Sun's coming up today. It's going to be beautiful. Sea lions they're out there. They're not in droves, but you're going to encounter sea lions. During the week, there's very few people out here fishing. It's probably 50-50 largemouth and striper anglers. There has been some fog in the morning, so be careful. It is really chilly, so bring a jacket. And one thing that I'm going to try to do this year, starting now, maybe this will be my New Year's commitment, is to wear my life jacket more often. I'm going to try to do that, starting right now with this cold water. It's more important, not more important, it's always important to wear your life vest, but it's really important if you fall overboard to have a life vest on when that water gets to be around 50 degrees. So maybe you guys can do the same. Be safe out here, and thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you guys next week, and until then, good luck.